So thank you so much for taking time to join us today. I've really been looking forward to this opportunity to speak with you guys and directors. So I'd love to hear more about the Camp Kesem, your activity, and your personal experience and thought. So just be yourself and enjoy the conversation. So let's get started.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you so much for having us.
All right, thank you. So to start, could you please introduce yourself, your name, university, and your role at the Camp Kesem?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start. My name's Haley Bunch. We both go to Cal State University, Long Beach. I've been involved with Camp Kesem for the past 4 years, so since I started college. And I first started just as a general member. Then I went to camp as a counselor, just in the cabins. And since then, I've been involved as a unit leader at camp. I've been to camp 3 times. I've worked as an outreach coordinator where I communicated with our community, talked with community partners and with our Kesem families. And now I'm working as a director of our chapter.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you, Haley.
And my name is Talar Khedesian, and I also go to Cal State Long Beach, as Haley mentioned. I'm currently a biology major, and this is my third year at camp for Kesem. Haley actually told me about it after she joined her first year.
Mhm.
I've been an operations coordinator, so like planning the whole week at camp, and this year I am now director with Haley, my co.
So you guys start 2022?
Yeah, that's about the
Okay.
year. Yeah.
How about this year, 2025 is the last year, or you guys have a one more year?
It's both
This
of
will be
our
our
last
last
years.
year.
Oh, okay. So you guys have done for 2025, so it's going to be the fourth year?
It'll be my fourth year.
Yeah. And then I joined a year after Haley did, so this is my third year.
Third year. Okay. Wow. It seems like a pretty long, and then every year you guys have a lot of ongoing events. Yeah. All right. Thank you. So could you tell us about what Camp Kesem is? What is the organization mission and what kind of children does it serve?
Yeah, so Camp Kesem is a national nonprofit organization, and we support kids whose parents have been affected by cancer. So throughout the school year, one of our main goals is fundraising. We have many fundraising events. We host a big gala in the spring, and that all leads up to a week-long summer camp, which serves children from the ages of 6 to 18, where they're able to come and have fun, kind of escape from like reality. And through our efforts throughout the school year, they're able to come free of cost. And this also includes all the volunteers that come as well.
Mhm. Wow. That's such a wonderful organization because I'm originally from Japan. I never heard of it, those type of NPO. And then this is nationwide, right?
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Do you know how many? So you guys call chapter, right? So each university has their own chapter, but some university doesn't have it. So what's the specialist or specialty about Long Beach State University? Like how when they start Long Beach University chapter?
That's a really good question. So, Camp Kesem has over 130 chapters located at college campuses across America.
Mhm.
I think we cover about 44 states in America. But Long Beach, we are relatively new. Kesem itself, Kesem National, started in the year 2000 in
Mhm.
Stanford, California. We started in the year 2018. So it wasn't too long ago that we started to have our chapter on campus. And it started pretty slowly. We had one in-person camp before COVID. And
Mhm.
then when COVID hit, we had a few in online camps. And then once we started to come back in person, that's really when our chapter was able to kick it off and start growing and serving more kids year after year. And now I think we are coming on, I think it's our sixth or fifth
Mhm.
in-person camp.
Wow, so it's becoming slow, but getting little by little bigger and then bigger.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So run by university students, right? So it's kind of like it's hard because this is the event, but sounds like a running organization because you have not only summer camp, you have a different type of fundraising event, charity event, family event. So do you have any like organization within in the chapter, Long Beach State University? Because you guys doing an outreach division, right? So do you have another division in how many members do you have right now?
So currently our board that run the entire organization comes to 25 people. And
Mhm.
within that, there are 6 positions total. We
Okay.
have a position for social media and reaching out to families and volunteers through like our Instagram and through Facebook. We also have, like Haley mentioned, some people who deal with the families and reach out to families, connect with those families. There are the operations coordinators, which help plan like materials coming to camp and what is happening each day at camp. There's also a finance team we call development, and they're the money people. So they're the ones who are pushing everyone to fundraise, creating fundraising events. We also have the gala committee, and they
Mhm.
help plan our big gala, which is one of our biggest fundraisers every year. And then there's us as well, and we kind of oversee all of these positions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, pretty big organization. And everybody has a kind of like a responsibility. And then also you have another new staff or new counselor coming in and you have to train them, right?
Exactly. There's also
Okay.
a position who is specializes in training those new
Oh,
volunteers also. Mhm.
okay. Okay. So what motivated you to get involved with Camp Kesem?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, when I first started to get involved with Camp Kesem, it
Mhm.
was mostly just something I wanted to do to find a community of people, see things where I could get involved in the Long Beach community and help people. And I didn't really understand how impactful Kesem could really be until I went to camp for the first time,
Mhm.
where I got to see the direct impact that we could have on our campers. We were able to just like create such a safe space for them to not only share their story and
Uh-huh.
connect with other kids who are going through similar things, but we were also just able to like allow them to get out of their house and have fun because a lot of these kids are facing pretty big stressors at home and they have a lot of worries. So when they come to camp, they're able to typically be kids and have the opportunity to have fun and not worry about things.
It's already emotional, because that's exactly what I felt. I don't know where to send my son and where can he could be like kids like himself, his age. Like yeah, when we facing like biggest like impact in our life. So yeah, Camp Kesem is my son's place so he can go back every year. Yeah. Okay, so how about you, Tara?
Um, I think I didn't know much about the organization going into it. Haley was the one who introduced it to me, like I mentioned previously, and she kind of just described it with nothing but positive things. And I think coming into college, that's something that I was looking for, just like a positive group of people that I could like relate to, but also like help the community at the same time. So I think that's definitely what motivated me initially. And once I got into the organization, every single person greeted me with a smile. Everyone involved is just such a unique and amazing person. So it just made it that much more fun and made me want to continue doing what we do. And then, of course, going to camp, just seeing the direct impact we have on these kids and how their faces just light up. And you can tell that this is probably the first time in a while that they're able to just express themselves as kids for a week over summer. Also, continued, definitely motivated me saying, like, this is some really powerful work.
Yeah, I think so. And then every time, because this is my son's fourth time summer camp this year, but every time when I go back, uh, the staff and the counselor, the students always they just keep doing it. Then nobody Then I said, oh, I see you last year, 2 years ago. So I'm so happy that my son can see every year the same stuff so he can be comfortable and he can have more fun and he see more detail so he can see more clearly right now what you guys doing. Yeah, so I really, really appreciate. Yeah. Okay, so about your role and the behind the scenes. So what kind of preparation or responsibilities are you involved in throughout the year? Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a same question that we already talked about. Yeah.
Totally, yeah. So I think there's a lot that goes into it every year. Haley and I, since we're directors this year, our main kind of goal is just to oversee all of our board members and support them and make sure everything is running smoothly. We also have an advisory board, and this is some parents, some community contacts, some people, parents that are like supporting us throughout the year. So we also keep in contact with them. I know, Kay, you're one of our advisory board members as well. So that also is a big help for us leading up to camp, just because it's definitely a different perspective and you guys provide us with so much advice as well. But other than that, like I mentioned, we're just pretty much overseeing and well, just making sure all the details line up perfectly so that we can have the best week at camp over summer.
Okay. So you guys doing the same role from the beginning, or are you becoming like a director position? What was the kind of
Yeah.
like a timing? Yeah.
We both started as just camp counselors,
Hmm.
and after that, it really just like there's a moment after camp where you realize that like this is something I want to continue
Mhm.
doing over the years, which pushes you to want to be more involved. So I can speak on my part first, but after being a camp counselor, I then ran for the operations role. So that was, I got to see like the inside scoop of like all the logistics that go behind planning camp and putting all the materials together and getting donations for like all our activities at camp. And after that year, that's when I decided to run for director for my last year at Kesem.
Wow. How about you, Haley?
Yeah, so I was involved as a camp counselor actually twice before I was able to get involved on board, just because I
Mm,
didn't know if I would have enough time to commit year round. But
mm,
once I did, it really just became something I loved doing. I first started in the outreach coordinator position, where it ha kind of has two sides. One side to outreach is communicating with our camper families and our possibly new camper families. And another side is communicating with our community contacts, which are people in Long Beach or the cities around that
mm,
help us try to find new families, help us try to get contacts in hospitals, in schools, simply because, as you said before, even people in Long Beach really don't know about Kesem. A lot of people who are going through these things have never heard about our organization before. And it was kind of my job to get our name out in the community and talk to people personally and gain their trust and show them what our nonprofit could do for their
mm,
kids and for their family. So a lot of the things I did was going to community events, tabling, sitting at a booth, handing out
mhm.
brochures, talking to camper families. And then eventually, a lot of the families we would meet in person and talk to them about camp. And now I'm a director.
Wow. Yeah, because because the family side, we don't want to talk about it, but we want to talk about it. But we're
Yeah.
so much during the grief, it's like just like feeling up and down. So when I found Camp Kesem, I was like, okay, this is it. This is the place we can rely on. We can go. And then, yeah, so I hope more people know about the Camp Kesem and then, and more get support and more for the children. Yeah, so thank you so much. I can't thank enough. It's just thank you so much to all the students. They, you know, bring all the effort. And also doing running those organization and during your academic, you have to keep focus on your academic side as well. How you guys the balance, doing different things same time?
Yeah. I feel like it was a bit overwhelming at first, not to
Hmm.
like to be honest, but I think it was definitely like a learning curve for both of us, and it just all comes with like planning and being organized and kind of making sure that as much as I like you want to put your 100% in Kesem, but also allowing yourself to like continue with your normal daily routines and kind of like continue your academic career. So it's all about like finding that balance. And I think we do that with just like communicating with each other and definitely just being organized and putting a calendar together of when we have things coming up for sure helps.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. So for students who wants to join the Camp Kesem team, how can they get involved and what do they do once they join?
Yeah, so we have different events at campus that helps to raise awareness for our club. For example, like once the school year starts, we have a week of welcome, and that's when us, alongside all the other clubs on campus, have a booth and we'll kind of just talk to all these incoming students about our camp. And that's one of the biggest ways that we get a lot of our new counselors. So we definitely like depend on that a lot, and we kind of just like outreach ourselves to campus. A lot of it is also personal connections too. So I know I've talked about Kesem in so many of my school classes, and that's piqued some interest in a lot of people. And we have bi-weekly meetings on Monday nights on campus that allows people to bring their friends, bring people who've heard about us, so that we can just like talk and connect with people. And after that point, I think people are more than willing to apply to be a counselor and come to all the trainings to be further involved in the organization.
Okay. So is there any training involved? There are other annual activity or events beside the summer camp?
Yeah, so we definitely go through some extensive training with our counselors just to
Mhm.
make sure everyone is as prepared as we can be for any situation that could come up as camp. We're actually in the middle of our trainings right now for our next
Oh,
set
okay.
of counselors, which is really exciting. It's cool to see how excited they are to like go to camp for the first time. We
Yes.
have some trainings with Kesem Nationals that we also communicate with, and they let us know like what we should be talking about and
Yes.
conversations to bring up. And these new counselors also have the opportunity to kind of get a nice look at what camp is like through our Friends and Family Day, for example, which happens twice a year outside, like at a park, where families can come and meet us for the first time, and some of our new counselors can connect with these families for the first time as well. So it all leads up so that it's not just like all of a sudden being thrown into camp. So there is a lot of training that goes along behind the scenes.
So those family events help family too, because, for me, my son started when he was 6. And then how can I trust my son goes to summer camp? So when we had like a event, family friends event, my son get more comfortable to see the counselor. Okay, so I can see them again this summer. Yay! Those kind of, motivation building. So that also helps us a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. On outreach, I think that I was able to really understand that some of our families might have a hard time letting their kids come to camp just because it is hard to build that trust. So
Mhm.
our day camps definitely help with that. Some things I sometimes tell families as well that I think helps them feel a little more comfortable is that one of the really cool things about Kesem is that we are a national organization. So some we have a headquarters in California that really oversees every single chapter in America, and all of our things have regulations and protocols. And
Mhm.
we all have to abide by the same workbooks, the same materials that they give to us. We have standards. We have to answer to, Talar and I have meetings every week with one
Mhm.
of our program coordinators from Kesem National. So everything is regulated and everything has rules. It is a very professional organization, and there's a lot of big training that goes into it. So I think parents always feel better when they hear that.
Yeah, I think so. the first time I just, okay, I can trust them. That was like immediately I can, felt. So that's why it's such a wonderful organization. Yeah. Okay, great. So let's dive into your on-the-ground experience at the Camp Kesem. So what has been one of the most memorable projects or events you've worked on, and what challenge did you face?
Do you want to talk about camp or should we talk about Make the Magic?
Mm. Let's talk about Make the Magic since that
Mm.
happened not too long ago.
Okay. So, Make the Magic is our annual fundraising gala. It's a very beautiful event. A lot of planning goes into it throughout the year. We have two coordinators who look for silent auction items, sponsorships. They work on the decor. And just really, it's a very time-consuming event to plan just because you have to reach out to so many people in the community and ask them to donate to our event. We have to communicate with our venue and do a lot of party planning. And it all leads up to this very emotional and very impactful event where we share a dinner with a lot of our members in our community. Some of our camper parents come. A lot of people who may not know about us but have heard of us through friends come and are able to kind of see what we do. We start off with dinner and some silent auction items. We do some activities, and at the end of the night, we have a video that we play of camp, which kind of allows our families to see how fun camp can be for our campers. A lot of times when people hear about Kesem, they visualize it to be something that is maybe a little sad, just simply because it is associated with healing from cancer, but not all the time do they realize that it's actually something very fun. So that video allows them to see that. And another thing that allows them to see the impact of our organization is that we allow or we want our families to come and speak. So we have two speakers. One is a camper and one is a camper parent. And they are able to speak at that event and tell everyone how Kesem impacted their lives and tell their personal stories through those speeches. And then we're able to just raise so much money for our event with that gala, and it allows camp to happen, really.
Yeah. It's also such a special event because kind of like sitting back and like looking at all the people that are there, it's so special to see just like some campers, the volunteers, the donors, like all of our families that come together and just like you can see the community Kesem creates just in this one event and the magic that we're able to create from the event too just makes it such like a memorable and rewarding thing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of love and trust and connection and bonding. So all the positive energy in one place and one night. So that was the beautiful event. Yeah. Okay, so about the camp, how was your experience interacting with the children during the camp?
It's definitely a different experience with every child that comes to camp. We see so many different personalities come in, which makes it so fun. It's always just such a great experience seeing the kids open up over camp and how once they're dropped off, they're like attached to their parents' leg and they don't want to leave. But by the end of camp, there are tears arising because they don't want to go home. So it's
Yeah.
always just like such a special thing connecting with every child and hearing what their stories and watching them just be a kid again. It's such like a positive and like really rewarding thing to experience with these kids for a whole week too.
Yeah, and then also going to the mountains, spending nights, eating together, sleeping together, and then no digital product, devices, and it's such a fun experience. They don't usually have it. So that's the wonderful things. And then I have a question. So you have from six is the youngest, and the oldest is 18. So how are you going to divide? Do you divide the team or by age or how you guys do during the camp?
We divide all the children up into three groups. So
Mhm.
there's the blue unit, which is the youngest of all the kids. And then there's like the middle age group, and then we have our oldest ones that are closer to 18. And these three units, we planned some activities that are specified for each age group, just so it's more like fitting and they can connect with other people their age. And we have our older group, we have a teen leadership program. And for them, we have some team building skills, personal building skills, to kind of help them in their teenage life as they're preparing to graduate high school. And then we also have activities that everyone does all together. So I think the kids have fun being in their age group, but you'll also see like the youngest kids start bonding with the oldest ones, and then they become like best friends by the end of camp. So
Oh,
yeah, it's great.
okay. All right. So could you share a specific story or a moment with a camper that left a strong impression on you?
Yeah, so it's hard to pinpoint an exact moment just because I do
Mhm.
think it is a culmination of moments throughout camp that really shows you how comfortable the kids are becoming with
Mm.
you and how much they want to share with you. You'll see as the days go on that these nervous kids who came in at first who didn't really want to open up will start sharing little things about their lives and start talking about their home life,
Mhm.
even though you didn't really ask, but you create that safe space for them because you know that if they want to share, they will. So just being able to listen and hear their stories and see them become comfortable with you is really impactful. And then some things that have always touched me to hear are when our campers in conversation will mention that they love what we do so much that when they get older, they want to become counselors so that they can do what we have done for other
Oh.
kids.
Mhm.
Yeah. So just to see how much impact we've made on them, that they want to do that for other people when they're older, means a lot for sure. It means a lot.
You know what? Because you guys such a great role model, such a young age, and people looking up to you guys doing such a great, wonderful gift to give it to them. So they want to be, oh, this is what I want to do for the future. Because my son, he started from sixth, so now he's becoming 10. He already said, I want to become a counselor in the future
No.
because of you guys. So those uh like build their feeling and because teenager and the younger age is still development phase, very, very important phase, what they're in right now. To see those role model is very impact and inspiring. So I think it's a great education for younger kids as well, especially who has grief, you know. So I think, oh, every year I just like I can't wait Camp Kesem. Yeah.
We
Okay,
can't wait
so
every year either.
Yeah, we can't
Counting
wait for
down the
camp. We look
days
forward
till
to it
camp.
all
oh,
year.
yeah, thank you. So this is kind of like a similar question, but what kind of changes or emotions did you observe in the children during or after camp?
Yeah, so I think I touched on this a little bit earlier. A lot of our kids, especially the new families that come in, they're very hesitant and they're they're almost like shy and reserved and like upset that they're going to a camp that is surrounded by cancer. And I think that's one of the big misunderstandings about us is that when these kids come, it's just like a blast the whole week. It's not focused on cancer, but we're creating an environment for them to be able to open up about their situations if they wanted to. And I think it's also just a comforting thing knowing that they know that everyone else around them has that same story to some extent. So I think that kind of like shifts when they get to camp when they're like,
Mhm.
oh, this isn't like a sad thing. I can come here and have fun. So that's a big shift we see throughout camp. I also do think a lot of our campers do become such close friends with their cabin mates and the people in their units as well. Like, as you mentioned, they don't have cell phones, we don't have internet, we're just camping all together in cabins. So they really do connect with each other on a really different way than they would out in the real world through like phones and texting and calling and whatnot. So I do think that's also just like a huge thing we see at camp and how they open up emotionally because it's such a great outlet for them and they don't have the same things they do when they're at home.
And then also I forgot to ask, so you have always a nickname, right, during the camp. So where does this come from?
Yeah, well, okay, so we call them our Kesem names.
Hmm.
And basically, when you first get involved in Kesem, you can think of anything in your life really that maybe brings you joy or reminds you of a place or a person that brings you joy. Sometimes it can be a nickname you already had at home, or really it could be anything. But it's a few different reasons. One of the reasons is simply a legal thing where we're allowing the kids to kind of not share their personal information with
Mm.
any of the kids or counselors at camp, and
Mm.
they kind of get to keep some of their privacy to themselves. But another of the large things is that when you come to camp, we want you to be able to feel like you are your best Kesem self. And this
Mm.
means that maybe you're leaving some things at home. Maybe you're leaving some stressors at home. Maybe some of your worries aren't following you to camp, and you're kind of stepping into this other person, this other name, where you can come to camp and just have fun and be a kid. So yeah, we call them our Kesem names. My Kesem name is yellow because it reminds me of the sun and the sand at the beach, which is kind of my happy place.
Oh, that's nice.
And my custom name is Thor just because I love superheroes. So that one stood out the most to me when I was picking my name. And yeah, going off what Haley said, I think it definitely just like creates this bubble at camp where you can like forget about everything else and you step into like this new, your best custom self kind of persona. And I think that's also a really fun aspect of camp too, hearing all the crazy names these kids come up with and like to be called by.
Do you know I have a Camp Kesem name?
Do tell.
I think last year, I think Uwe or someone asked me what is your Kesem name? I was, oh, can I have the name? And then
Of
I
course.
yeah, so then I put lavender.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
Yeah, I
That's
love the smell.
beautiful.
It's just coming down. Yeah. So I think that's very, very good idea having a nickname.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes after camp, when like we go back home and our friends start calling us by our real names, and we're like, "Who is that? I don't know." But we're so used to being
I won't
called these
respond.
fake names.
Yeah, true. Okay. Okay. So how has your experience with Camp Kesem influenced you personally?
I guess I can start.
Okay.
So, in my personal life, Kesem has definitely touched a lot of different aspects of how I interact with people, and then also just how thankful I am for the things in my life. I am really lucky that I haven't had a personal impact by cancer in my family. I kind of am able to do this because I have three younger brothers, and I just love them so much that if I know that if anything were to ever happen to my family like this, I would want somebody else to do this for my brothers because I know that it's kind of not something that I would be able to do for them. It would have to come from somebody else, some other organization that would be able to provide this for them and allow them to connect with other kids and do other things for them. So I'm thankful that I am able to do that for somebody else's little brother and that I can help other families like how I would want somebody to help my family. But also, working in Kesem has allowed me to really grow in a professional aspect,
Mm.
especially being
Oh
director.
yeah.
Yeah, being director, we've had to just work with so many different types of people, so many people who have different work styles. We've had to deal with interpersonal communication issues. We've
Yeah.
had to plan so many large things.
Yeah.
And that has really just helped me grow in my communication
Mhm.
and grow in my skills with just talking with other people, really.
Especially you're not you're talking with the children and the parents, not like a corporation, like business stuff. So as you need more sensitiveness, you have to be really careful about because there's still grief. Even 1 year, 3 years, 5 years pass, we still haven't grief. So communication I think, is the key. And then you guys have such a wonderful communication skill. That's what always I can tell.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So Tara.
I think personally, my family has been touched by cancer when I was in high school, and
Mm.
I didn't have a outlet, kind of. Like I didn't know about Kesem. I didn't know something like this existed. And I have two younger siblings as well, so it's something that I wish that I had when I was younger. So I think that has definitely like influenced me personally, being able to give back to other kids going through the same thing because it is such a niche thing that only people who are going through it will understand. So I
Yeah.
always say, like, it sucks that there's a reason to have this organization,
Mhm.
but I'm so, so thankful and glad that it exists just because we've personally seen the impact on so many kids. And it's just like just a great way for like people to connect with each other. And I think that's definitely given me some peace being able
Mhm.
to give back as well. And yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it sucks to have, but I'm so happy and glad that, you guys have, Camp Kesem organization. So yeah, kind of like a half and a half, like kind of like a mixed feeling. But yeah, overall, it's such a wonderful organization. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what do you think is the barrier or significance of being involved in this kind of work while still a student?
Yeah, so I think a big thing is being a student and being involved in this community. There's a big way to connect with people on campus and finding a community that like you fit in with. And I feel like Yellow, you probably agree with this too, but everyone who we work with and like all of the counselors, we become such great friends with. So it's not really just like work. It's more of like a fun thing that we can all do and connect together during that time we're doing it and making that impact while also being a student too. So it's pretty much just like creating that community on campus.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it also just allows us to have something during our undergraduate years that really means something. I think
Mhm.
that sometimes when you go to class, you're learning all this information, and at points you can think to yourself, why am I learning this? What is this for? Like, what meaning does this have? But coming to Kesem and being able to do work that I see directly impacts others around me gives part of my college experience such big meaning, and it allows me to feel fulfilled and feel like I'm making a difference for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So how do you hope to use this experience in the future, whether professionally or personally?
Yeah, I feel like we've touched on it a little bit, but definitely professionally, it is so helpful. I think we've learned a
Mhm.
lot of really important skills working with so many different people. And when it also comes to planning events too, like before the gala, I had never planned an event to that scale before. So I think
Mm.
we both learned so many skills doing that. So professionally, that's definitely a huge thing. And personally, I I know that this organization has a lasting impact on me forever. And I know once I graduate too, I'm not gonna be gone from the organization. I still would like to help out for the new people and still be that support system that we're so thankful to have now.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Thank you. So it's going to be a few more questions. So what would you like the people who don't yet know about Camp Kesem to understand?
I think the biggest thing that we always try to help people
Mhm.
understand is that Kesem is a place where kids can come and have fun. Uh,
Mhm.
Being outreach coordinator, I talked with a lot of families who were hesitant to send their kids to camp because their kids thought that it would just be sad the whole time. But in
Mhm.
reality, we would have so many fun activities planned throughout the week. We have a pool where all of our kids go to the pool for a few hours and play games. We have one of our biggest events is called Messy Games, where
Mhm.
the kids just get dressed in clothes that can get messy and they come to a big field and we throw holy powder at each other. We throw shaving cream at each other, water balloons. Just we get super messy and have fun, and there's no worries throughout the whole event.
Mhm.
And there are there are so many countless activities that we do that don't touch on cancer at all and don't touch on the emotional aspect of it at all. And it really allows the kids to bond with each other and trust each other and also trust their
Mhm.
counselors. And this kind of does lead up to one event where we create a space where if our kids want to share about their stories and share about their experience with Kesem, they can. This is called empowerment. And it's an event where we sometimes it's different every time, but for example, we might allow them to sit down with their cabin and we might ask them a question like, what is a favorite memory you have of your past?
Mhm.
Or what does Kesem mean to you? And we might ask them to draw a picture of that. So we give them a chance to do that. And if they want to, they can share. So
Mhm.
we never mention the word Kesem, or we never mention the word cancer, sorry. But a lot of times, our kids will link that question to their past experiences with their family because they want to share and they want to be given the opportunity to talk
Mhm.
about how cancer has affected their family and their lives and their worries. And um, it just like gives them the opportunity to connect with other kids going through similar things and allows them to be seen and be heard. And it allows them for them to share their story and it not to be awkward like it might be at home.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So finally, could you share a bit more about this summer's upcoming camp and how people can support or get involved?
Definitely. We're so excited to say that our camp is set in June. We have our campsite that we've been going to. They are so amazing and it has so many amenities for the kids to go and have fun at. We're set. Our goal is to serve around 40 campers this year. So this is about 10 more campers than the previous year. So it's going to be our biggest one yet, which we're super, super excited for.
Mhm.
And I would say the biggest thing that we could say leading up to camp and how people can get more involved is to just spread the word about Camp Kesem. And
Mhm.
you never know who is going through something like this and how it could impact their life. So I think the biggest thing is just spreading the word, making people more aware of it so that they know that something like this exists and there is an outlet that kids can come to in such terrible situations that they might be going through at home. So that's definitely the biggest thing to help out with us leading up to camp. And apart from that, we have all of our resources that I think we've linked to you, but donations are a big one. We're accepting donations at any time, and that all leads up to the camp that families get to go to for free. So that's a big one. And also just like material wise that we're looking for leading up to camp, a lot of the things that we bring are donated from companies and families. So any of these things are a great way to help, but the biggest thing for sure is just spreading the word.
We're always
Okay.
looking for new campers.
Okay. All right. Okay. So thank you both so much for joining us today. It was truly inspiring to hear about your work and the passion you bring to the Camp Kesem. So I continue to support for your effort, and then I'm so grateful you to the time to be here with us. Thank you so much. And for more detail about today's interview or to learn how to support or donate to Camp Kesem, please visit the program page on our website. Thank you again, and we wish you all the best moving forward.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.